everybody, it's Carrie here, and welcome back to Carrie's Bariatric Gardening. I am going to be doing the third official garden tour today. It is the end of the month of May, and things look very, very different now, you're going to see. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe so you can follow along with all of these garden tours and see how the garden progresses throughout the season and see how it affects how I eat throughout the seasons too. This guy is so cute. Aww. So since we're already in the front yard garden, I will go over the front yard garden first this time. One thing that's changed a lot is these two big piles of dirt, and as you can see, there's a lot of growth right now that maybe you didn't see the last time. Also, some other things I'm doing here. I'm going to be making sort of like a living border here with some corn. Corn likes to grow together, and I was trying to find a place that likes a lot of sun. It takes a lot of nitrogen as well, so like the nutrient needs are a little bit different than the rest of the garden. And so I was thinking of maybe putting like a living barrier here, and I think I'm going to try that out. The type of corn I'm going to be growing is a green Dent corn. And that's sort of more of a storage corn. I selected it like the first year I started gardening because I wanted to make polenta out of it, and it made excellent polenta. So you can make like tortillas and stuff like that. Like you can buy green corn tortillas sometimes if you find the right place. Really, really good. Oh, it's just as it started raining. You know, Murphy's Law. I've got some cucumbers growing here. A little bit of odds and ends. Potatoes. This is for Aaron. Let me show you my potatoes. So I finally got them planted super late. I'm growing them in this tub, which I am upcycling for this job. It was found in a trash heap, basically. The potatoes that I'm growing are the potatoes that I saved from last year that I grew from TPS, that's true potato seed, and that is it's not too common for people to do that because it could be anything. It's kind of like apples. When you plant an apple seed, it could be any kind of apple, and most apples that you get that are all the same are grafted. So with potatoes it's the same. They're grown from seed potatoes unless you get berries, and if you save the berries you can grow potatoes from that, and they could be anything. So those are the potatoes, and they are like these pink fingerlings. They're really cool looking. All right, on the front porch, I've got, this is my sage, and then I'm doing some pots here with tomatoes. I decided I'm going to do some little tree saving here, some tree planting. Thought that might be fun. I want to do a dedication for my friend who recently passed away, Linda Lombardo. Those of you who have been around in the weight loss surgery community for a very, very long time may know her, may remember her. She was an amazing woman, and truly her memory is for a blessing. She was awesome. If I could live my life even remotely like hers, I'd be doing a good job. So cheers to Linda. Front yard garden, my goodness. All right, let's sit down here and see what's going on. I've got a lot going on here. Kale is doing great. I've actually started harvesting some of this kale. The cilantro bolts at the first sign of the sun, so of course that's bolting. But sometimes you can sort of reseed it and like keep, you know, it's inevitable that your cilantro is going to bolt, basically. You gotta live with it. These, I transplanted a whole bunch of these little fennels because check this out. The fennel that I did back in February is over here. Ooh, can you see it? Oh, look at that. I have, can we see this? Well, I don't know if I'm doing this right. I think I got it now. So this fennel is actually looking really lovely. It's the first time I've been able to grow fennel. I've really had trouble trying to grow it, and it looks like finally I may have found the right conditions for it, for this finicky plant. I've got some spinach here that isn't doing super great. Even that one, it's doing all right, but it's okay. This stuff is eventually going to be spent, and I'm going to be changing this stuff out. That was just like old plantings that I wanted to put in there from the winter that I just transplanted out the front. And then here in the corner, I want to just let you know what I'm doing here because I got poles here. These are red sunflowers, and they're going to be growing up along with the poles, and I'm going to be like trellising between them. There's a few different things here. There's rich sweetness melon, and then there's cucamelon. So rich sweetness melon is sort of like a hand melon, and what it is, it's like a small little personal sized melon. They're kind of neat looking and interesting item for the garden. Everything in here mostly is going to be ripped out soon. All of the choys I'm going to be harvesting and putting in the stir fry soon. That is a random sunflower that's growing there, which I'm going to leave there because it seems quite happy. The rapini is going to be coming out, and I think I'm going to be putting my peppers here, at least half of them, to see how they do here in the front yard garden, because they say like peppers like some shade and they tend to get scalded a lot, and it's been very hot, so I might try something like that. We'll see. The lettuces are looking amazing. I mean, this is why, like I say, everybody should be growing lettuce because it's extremely easy. Turnaround is super fast. And look at this beautiful lettuce. A little girl came by on a wagon. Her mom was taking a walk with the kids, and as she passed by, she said, "I like your plants." It was the cutest thing ever. Oh my god. I've got a few different things here, a little bit more. I had more of the fennel, so I transplanted some more fennel here. These are all sort of like zinnias and cosmos that are going to be a wraparound border here. And I started having a couple of them pop up. I am basically trimming the first flowers because I want them to bush out more and be a little bit more productive. So the front beds here, this main thing hasn't really been filled. I'm looking sort of like for perennials. If anybody has any suggestions for perennials to put in here, I would love to get your suggestions. If it's an edible, all the better. What I've got there is a pink cardoon, and that is an edible. That is a perennial. And I think along here, there were some raspberries naturally growing in there, so I did transplant one of the branches from the yellow raspberry there to see if maybe I can do something with this area here. And I don't know, I might try and grow a squash here. Who knows? We'll see. I'm trying to squeeze as much production out of this garden as humanly possible. So I guess now it is time to go to the back. So before we go all the way to the back, there's something I should mention. We're getting a cold snap right now. So overnight lows were like 5 degrees. And so like what I told you about that 5-degree thing is like there's wiggle room. Most of the stuff that's planted is already out. That's fine. I have been transplanting stuff out in order of cold hardiness. This is a pro tip, okay? When you're transplanting stuff out, do the coolest tolerating stuff first and work your way back in, because sometimes you got to bring your stuff back in. Okra is one of those plants that really, really loves the heat, and if their roots get cold, okra, eggplants, peppers, if they get cold, it can stunt their growth. So these are the things that are going to be transplanted out last. Pro tip, guys. All right, guys. The original plan was that I was going to do the tour after I did the grass, but to tell you the truth, who knows if I'll have the energy after. And I want to make sure that I film this, so we will do the tour first. Aw, isn't he such a honey? Oh. We'll do the tour first, and then I'll do the grass after. I'll just get up and close the shed at least, because yeah, the grass is tall and it's got to get done, but it might take me a while, and then I'm gonna want to rest. And the sun is out now, so let me take advantage of that and film the tour. Ooh. All right, so I did mention in my little update the other day that I was harvesting. I had to harvest a lot in order to plant the beds. Now, from my last garden tour, if you remember, I was saying there was leeks planted like everywhere from, I think, the first garden tour. So this bucket here gives you an idea of like the amount of leeks that I gotta clear from a bed. And all of these, like the sizes vary. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. All of these, I'm gonna be using them. I found a really easy way to do them. So I just split them in half. I chop them up, clean them, spin them out in my salad spinner, and then I put a little bit of oil in the Instant Pot on saute with a little bit of salt and a bunch of the leeks, as many leeks as I can throw in there, and stir it from time to time as it's cooking down. But it maintains the perfect temperature to reduce it down to like a nice caramelized state where I can just freeze it. I can just dump it into a bag and freeze it and then think about using it later. One thing I am going to be making with them is spanakopita. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's a Greek specialty. It's usually done with spinach and feta on the inside, and it's like a phyllo triangle. So I'm going to do the same thing, but with leek and feta, and to me that sounds super yummy. But I'm going to do it once all of this work is done. So just to give you an idea of what things look like. Okay, very different, a lot more growth than the last time you guys saw it. So let's start here in the corner. I have a rose here that the previous the previous owners planted, and it was not doing too great. Last year I pruned it down, and now it is looking really nice. This gets gorgeous flowers. You might see them on my Instagram if you fish around from a previous year. This is, oh, my bloom. I got a bloom on a blackberry. Cool, this is the first one, I think. That's awesome. I put these in last year, the blackberry. I got it in a trade from a friend of mine. And yay, I'm excited for blackberries. This is the garlic, guys. And green onion over here. So told you like how quickly the garlic grew. Wow, it's really growing now. Oh, look at this little guy. Oh my God, what a sweetie. I planted some fruit stuff here. So on this little corner here, I have got some golden raspberries, and this is a gooseberry, I do believe. There's still purple sprouting broccoli here, but it's not really doing much. I've got my bird bath here, and I might be planting some other things here, but I'm not quite sure yet. I finally got the strawberries in yesterday. This is strawberry 1 and strawberry 2. And there's 2 different varieties of strawberries in here. There's the regular ones that have white flowers, which are these guys here. And then I have another variety here that actually has, oh, can you see? Red flowers. I think that's so pretty. Very pretty. And then I have my painted rocks to discourage the birds. I actually just used a bunch of old nail polish for this, and it looks actually really cool. And yeah, as of yet, I have not had anything peck at any of my strawberries other than me. Ha. There is stuff that still is yet to be planted. So, like I said, stuff is getting in as quickly as I can possibly get it, but you know, things take time, the weather, your body has limits, you know, you have to listen to your body. Not too much going on here. I've got arugula coming back in a couple of these pots. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with those ones yet. And now this, I'm so glad I finally got it done. This is my paste tomato bed. I was hoping to have an equal amount of Siberici orange and my Wessel's Purple Pride, but it didn't quite work out like that. I lost some tomatoes. I had a bit of a snafu and lost some tomatoes, and they were left out in some not great weather, and you know, it happens. But so that means that I'll be canning a lot of really cool orange sauce, and honestly, these tomatoes are delicious, so I ain't sad about it. Things change and you just have to adapt to it. All right, over here, this bed is sort of in transition. I've got raspberries here all around. The grape is coming back looking just awesome. I did a hard prune on that one, cut it way back down and hadn't been pruned in a long time. The rhubarb is ready to harvest. Let me get in there and harvest a piece. I'll show you what it looks like. Oh my goodness, I hope I don't get any ticks on me. All right, let's do this piece right here. Can I get it? Oh, here we go. Rhubarb. So I guess I'm gonna be making some rhubarb stuff. What do you make with rhubarb? I would love to hear what recipes you make with your rhubarb, because I'm not quite sure. I'm not a big fan of the rhubarb pie type of thing. But if you've got another way that you use it, I would love to hear it. I'll be collecting that later when I go back inside. Next up is the palette garden. Oh, let me get back to this. So like this one, so I've got a little bit of horseradish growing in this sort of wild flower bed. And I'm gonna be adding some flowers to it once everything else is planted out. There's a lot of raspberries popping up there because raspberries are sort of invasive like that. And we'll see what stays, what goes. I'm just gonna dump stuff, compost on top of it. That's what I'm gonna do. Palette garden over here is looking good. That's gotta be cleared out. The parsley I'll probably keep. Lettuce is gonna be probably harvested soon because those are heading up nice. And I got spinach, a little bit more straggler kales that are, this is gonna be replanted. I think I'm gonna be putting in bush beans here. Right now, the other palette garden is almost completely planted out in another wave of lettuces, and that is looking good and establishing really, really nice. I'm quite happy about that. Oh my God, guys. I don't even know what to say here. Like, this is just like blowing my mind. It's blowing my mind. It's hard to talk about it without the expletives. What am I talking about? What's my obsession? These tomatoes. These tomatoes. Oh my goodness, guys. So I'm gonna get right on the ground here and show you what's going on. Oh. So these are the tomatoes that I planted early, and oh boy, I am definitely going to be getting tomatoes early, and I'm so excited. Alright, so I'm turning the camera around here to give you a really good view of what's going on in this bed. So this is the first bed I got planted out, and this is what was under the PVC piping and the plastic. I planted these, I still can't believe it. I planted these tomatoes mid-April, and they were under this sort of greenhouse conditions, and they are doing just like I've never seen anything like. I've never personally experienced anything like this before as a gardener, and I don't think I'm going to be able to go back after this, because like they that's those, and this is what I planted out, like what I would regularly do. And so what I have here and what I did for this sort of experiment is I have the same varieties here as I did here. This was in the planting tomatoes video that I did, and so you can refer to that to see what kind of amendments I put in this. I put in a bunch of different amendments in this, and Gaia Green. In this area, I did things quite differently. And I kept hearing about this thing of planting with an egg and a banana and an egg. I don't know. Some people plant bananas, some people plant with an egg. I had both in the house, and so I figured, why don't I do an egg in a quarter of a banana and each of those. So the reason why people do that is the egg is for the calcium and the banana is for the potassium. Potassium makes big tomatoes. And so we'll see how these ones do when the size of the tomatoes actually come out compared to the same varieties under different conditions right beside them. Let me just show you some of these flowers. So this is, and sometimes things go wonky. So if you look at this, people are wondering, like, where's the growing tip from this? It kind of just became a giant truss. And that does happen sometimes with this variety. This is Sergeant Pepper's. This is my favorite tomato. And because of that, this is a sucker. You see how it's growing out of the armpit? But I'm gonna keep this on, and this will be the new leader. Okay, so like this is the thing, tomatoes are super forgiving, and there's always options. Like even if it cuts down to, like, you know, let's say you chop it off, you know, things can happen like this, where you get, like, you know, a sucker that comes out from like under the ground, where let's say something chopped off the top of your tomato, you might still get a tomato plant there. So like, you know, sometimes a little bit of patience can go a long way when it comes to certain types of plants that have different strategies of how to make sure that they flower. Look at this. I'm going to have tomatoes real soon. I'm so excited, guys. This one here is my Isis Candy cherry variant, which is the dark cherry. I cannot wait to see if that's maintained the phenotype. A phenotype is just a sort of like a representation of the description of what the qualities of that tomato are. So like how the genes express themselves. This area here is turnips. I actually want to show you underneath here that all my little turnips are starting to form. Very exciting. And cabbages seem to be doing all right. This is my cabbage here. The other day I did set out slug traps. Now I did mention that in the other video. This is a slug trap. Let me show you. This one doesn't really have too many in there, which makes me happy. Which means that there's not a lot in this bed. I will show you another one along the tour that does have a lot. But let me just explain how I planted this row, because this is now a fully planted row. I've got peas over here. I've got my thyme flowering in the back there. That is perennial. Over there in the corner I've got some herbs. There's some mint and some chives and some thyme. And then I planted some Scarlet Renner beans here. There are, I think, a couple of vines. I may have done a set of the hand melons and the cucumber melons here as well. I've got basil. Here I seeded different types of bush beans. And so those bush beans should be coming up through the mulch. I think I may have done like a bachelor button here and there between the beans as well. And then I have my tomatoes all spaced about 1.5 feet apart. And I did lettuce starts in the middle to take advantage of that shadier, cooler area for when it gets hot and lettuce likes to bolt. This should be a little bit more protected here. Turning around onto row 3, this area, so like there's a lot of oric here. I did not plant this self-seeds. What I do with my oric is that every year I pick one that I'm going to keep. This year it's going to be this one right here because it's super vigorous. It's the biggest one so far. So this is the one I'm going to keep for seed. It came out the earliest with the most vigorous growth, so it makes sense to save from this one. So when I'm going to be harvesting, I'm harvesting all the other ones around here. This is a super nutritious plant, by the way. Incredibly full of phytonutrients and just like protein rich. Like it's an incredible plant. I am going to be taking these out today, actually momentarily. I'll show you what it looks like after I take them out. So let's just go around. Again, I've got more peas here, and like, look how quick and fast growth is. Like, these guys are going to start flowering soon. Do I remember what kind these are? Absolutely not. I know I've got it in a video or in pictures somewhere. I think I took pictures when I was planting. And here, interestingly enough, so they say that if you plant with onions, they don't grow well. Well, this is garlic, and they aren't. But I think it's just a matter more of maybe the fact that they're competing with the root space. I think that's it. As you can see, like, this is the red currant set fruit very nicely, and so that will just be a matter of ripening up. The garlic is looking phenomenal. Let me show you what's going on deep between the garlics. I've got lettuce interplanted there also to take advantage. So garlic usually comes out in July. Something tells me we're going to be a little bit earlier this year, but that's like the heat of the summer. So these garlics are going to be giving that lettuce protection from that heat and a little bit of shade. This is going to be planted out soon, but I'm waiting for the weather to get a little bit warmer for those really heat-loving plants that I've got inside right now. These are looking phenomenal. I believe these are going to start flowering very soon. The spinach is already starting to want to go to seed. That one over there in that bed is a spinach that has gone to seed, but that's the variety that I would like to have more seeds for, so I'm actually keeping that plant for the seed. These I'm pulling right now. So let's see, like, it looks like so big, right? Let's see what it looks like when you actually just pull this one. How much of it is. So as you see from this, so this is from Tatsoi, and like the root ball is really small. So like you can grow these in, like, I would say most conditions. So that's what it looks like there. And I'll just be like hanging this up to dry the seeds out. Alright, so all of that has just been removed. And as you can see, it's freeing up a lot of space here. These are my winter plantings from the lettuce, and they're like ready to come out. They're ready. All of this stuff, it's time to sort of switch it over to the next flush of lettuces, and pull these out and plant new stuff for summer. I believe I'm going to be putting squash in there. I still have squashes and zucchini left to plant, still have some cucumbers and a few other things, and then the heat-loving stuff such as the okra and eggplant and peppers. I'm going to show you what asparagus looks like, because a lot of people don't really get this view of what the plant is. So after your asparagus is like grown up, if you leave it and don't pick it, it becomes this fern, right? And so when you plant asparagus, in order for the roots to really develop enough to have enough to harvest and have it still come back, you have to leave it to go to seed. And then you can see actually on here, I don't know if you can see, there's like little berries forming there, and those will become these little red berries. And in fact, you can take those, and inside those little red berries there are these little tiny black seeds, and those are the asparagus seeds. Let's just do this while we're at it. So this is where I have also the other lettuces that some of them have to go. The dock should be cut like way down, because I would prefer the smaller ones that come out. The big ones, I use them in lettuce and stuff, but I like the little ones more. These ones have all got to be cleared. And so yeah, so this row is sort of like I'm still waiting to clear it out. But this you've got to see. These are the winter celtis, and I've never seen a plant like this. It's just gorgeous. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can get a better look. All right, so we're coming up on the very last row, or my first row actually. Again, I've got more peas here. I've got bachelor buttons coming up. These are onions that I planted last year. Those I've started harvesting and using already. I've got different kinds of peas planted here. A few different lettuces and that still popping up. And this is where I'm getting all of the little seedlings for let me show you one, for the fennel. So I had a fennel here last year, and although it didn't bulb up, it went to seed and I just let it go. And so now I have all these little babies, and I could just take this and plant it in another bed by itself, make it happy, and it will give me a fennel. I think if I had enough of these, I could probably even like make a salad from like little babies of these, and it would be fantastic. I didn't even think of doing that, but now I just did, because I'm like looking at it and I kind of want to eat it. Okay, getting back to that, let me put this back in the ground. Okay, I'll go back for that, plucked it out. What is going on with this? So this is a Dinosaur Kale that I am saving seed from. The seed is taking a little bit longer to develop on these, but the plant is really big and it's going to give a lot of seed. So I am keeping that here and keeping it in the bed until the seeds mature, because I really do want a lot of seeds of this Dinosaur Kale, because I want it for microgreens and for regrowing this. So the rest of the bed here, as you see, is fully planted out. So this is the rest of the tomatoes. As far as amendments that I use here, other than I think I just put the Gaia Green and the Myco in there. And this is done with soil from the front. The first one that I did, that first section of the experimental greenhouse ones, that was a different mix from the rest of the tomatoes that I'm growing. It's nice to kind of mix things up a little bit if you have the space and the time to do it, if you're like an intermediate gardener. mix things up a little bit and see what works in your garden, because different things will work in different places for different people. So it's a good thing to sort of just try and experiment and see what happens. I did plant some of the Japanese morning glories here. I'm hoping that they take, because I think that'll be a really, really nice living border here as well. My Japanese maple is looking quite lovely. And so is my espalier. This is my espalier apple. And I can show you, I've got little apples. Can you see? Woo, little apple. Apple. Yes, I'm a crazy plant lady now. All right, that's it for this week, guys. I hope everybody's doing great. I would love to hear about what's going on in your gardens right now. Hop on over to Facebook and join Carrie's Bariatric Gardening on Facebook. I would love to see a little bit more involvement from the community. I want to see what's growing in your garden. I've shown you mine. You show me yours. All right, guys, have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Stay tuned and subscribe, because next week I will be doing Dis the Diet 2.0, Regain Revisited, COVID edition, guys. We're getting back to our best self right now, okay? Have a great week. Bye. Hey everybody, welcome back to Carrie's Bariatric Gardening. I'm not in the garden today.
Nor am I.
We're hanging out at a waterfall instead. Just before I say goodbye, one more note. Pack it in, pack it out if you're going on a hike. Pack it in, pack it out. Always take what you bring with you, never leave anything behind.
Amen.
Just take only precious memories and beautiful pictures. Yeah, gorgeous. It's beautiful. I'm not telling you where it is.
I feel like I'm in the Caribbean.
I'm not telling you where it is.
Feels like the Caribbean.
You gotta come to Niagara to experience this. It's full of waterfalls and beauty out here. Peace out. Okay, I decided I'm gonna try it. It just looked too good. I didn't want it to dry out. I'm gonna waste. If you guys don't know, fennel has sort of an anise flavor. When I was little, I hated it because I thought it tasted like black licorice, and I did not like it. And it's funny because now, yeah, it does still taste like that, but I do like it. This is really good. Like, honestly, this with the dough to cook like on a fish, like in a like in a pocket, like what do they call it? You do it in parchment paper. There's a name for it. I don't remember. If you remember the name for how you make that fish, please put it down below. I'm having a brain fart right now and I cannot remember. At least it's not a bariatric brain fart, because that would really stink. Alright guys, bye.